this new lesson on astrology, French astrology, I would like to speak on the connection, the attitude of the French astrologers, at least the vanguard, towards the zodiac. The zodiac is not really a reference. In many cases, zodiac can be something that you have to avoid. That's why many astrologers, for instance, insist on the importance of the 4 elements. The fact that you say that a sign is defined by its element or by its mode, cardinal, fixed, mutable, proves in a certain way that you want to get rid of the zodiac, and you replace the zodiac by this combination of categories, quaternaries and ternaries. The fact that you connect the zodiac, the sign of the zodiac with the planets is also, when you say that the ruler of Aries is Mars, etc., is also a proof that you don't want the zodiac, that you are going to put something come instead of the zodiac. You know? So, in contradiction with what people think, the zodiac is not a reference. It was, at least in the second part of the 20th century, it was not considered as something that you have to build astrology upon. Unfortunately, recently the zodiac has returned to a certain strength. More people also today, especially in modern astrology, will speak about the fact that Pluto entered in Capricorn or Uranus in Aries, etc., etc. But in fact, it is a sort of regression, of epistemological regression. In the 60s, 70s, the zodiac was not at all considered as something important. At least, astrological speaking, of course, you have to position to place the planets in the zodiac, but it was not necessarily meaningful by itself. Barbeau, when he studies the cycles of Saturn and Neptune, doesn't care where the Saturn and Neptune are situated. What is important for him is a conjunction, whatever the zodiac is, wherever the zodiac could be. So, you see that astrology, in contradiction to what seems to have been the case, was not necessarily in favor of all the planets to be considered in astrology, or of all the zodiac, the 12 signs of zodiac considered astrology. It was not necessarily like that. And Gauquelin, in fact, with his study on the planets in houses, well, as it were, doesn't care at all for the zodiac. You know? So the zodiac developed in the media, developed in the newspapers, developed in a certain form of literature with the 12 booklets, and actually Barbeau is also responsible for such booklets in the 50s. So there is a double game, a double talk. The popular astrology is connected with the zodiac, but the learned, the serious astrology is not. And today, these two lines tend to combine itself, and it's regrettable. On the other hand, I think we cannot just get rid of the zodiac just like that. My work on the fixed stars shows, on the contrary, that we have to consider where the planets conjoin. It's not a matter of secondary importance. And here I will not at all follow Barbeau or others in their ignorance, in their indifference towards the zodiac. Not the zodiac itself, but at least where the planet is placed, where the planet is situated. It's very important for me to know if Saturn is getting nearer a certain star, certain fixed star, one of the royal fixed stars, of the 4 royal fixed stars. It's very important, it's essential. But for Barbeau, who doesn't take care of the stars, and prefers to refer a planet to another planet, to combine two planets together, the zodiac is considered as something that you don't need, superfluous. And this is where I will not follow it at all. But on the other hand, I must say that astrologers who consider that the planet has to follow his path through the 12 signs of the zodiac, I cannot follow that at all, because it's too heavy. The zodiac by itself, with the 12 different signs, is too heavy. And it's much healthier. I would say I'm in love with the idea of the four elements, but at least the four elements afford to structure the path of the planet in three parts. You have the four elements: fire, earth, air, and water, and then again and again the same collection of elements. So you have only four possibilities, which are repeated, and I think this is quite good. And also Halbronn, in his work on 19 degrees astrology, has nothing to do with zodiac. He says, for instance, that all the cardinal signs are the same, all the fixed signs are the same, etc. So there is a tendency for the research, for astrological research, to get rid of the zodiac. Maybe they are throwing the baby with the water of the bath, and this is exaggerated. But it's as I said, it is exaggerated because it doesn't take into consideration the stars, the fixed stars, which still are elements of the zodiac. But there is also this polemics about sidereal astrology and tropical astrology, which is also a little exaggerated, but it has prepared the line that I'm studying. You know, I can say that sidereal astrology in a certain way. That's in a certain way. Although most siderealist astrologers do not care about the stars by themselves. Well, they do a little about the first point, after which they will build the zodiac in 12 equal sectors. But they don't really refer to the conjunctions of the planets with the stars. And this is what I would call stellar astrology instead of sidereal astrology. Yes, when I heard recently someone in a conference saying, well, we are going to study Saturn in Scorpio, and he describes Saturn in Scorpio very, very detailed, I said to myself, oh, now we have to wait 30 years or 27 years to have this same combination of Saturn in Scorpio. It's exaggerated. Why do you want... I mean, the zodiac creates a sort of interval, of gap between periods, which is unbearable, I would say. No? I accept that, for instance, we can be in a certain period and wait 3 more years or 5 more years, whatever, to enter another period or to come back to the former period. But waiting 25, 20, 30 years for returning to the same situation is not acceptable. This is also one of the perverse aspects of the zodiac which have to be avoided. For me, the 4 fixed stars are not different. They are the same. I do not say, well, when Saturn conjunct with Aldebaran, it is not the same than when it is conjunct with Regulus. No, it is the same. It's neutral. It doesn't mean something special. We don't have to reinterpret or overinterpret everything which is in the sky. We have to be very humble and have a very basic approach of the sky, and not always trying to make any special exegesis, a special comment on this and this and that, and why this, why that. There are many astrologers who have developed a sense of, trying to get any information for every detail, they're very like that, every detail counts, every small point counts, and that's what they call precision. And there is also, of course, the question of the Aquarius age, which is also connected with zodiac, with the precision of the equinoxes, and which gives a sort of cycle of 25,000 years, etc., which eras of more than 2,000 years. This is also an aspect of the zodiac which I consider as very, very difficult to accept, because I don't believe that astrology has to do with long periods. I don't believe that the role, the matter of astrology is connected with long periods. I believe that cyclicity, cycles, can only be conscious when they return rather often. And that is why, and this is also very important, that is why it is precious and useful to divide any cycle in four. When you divide, which is the case when you consider the cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs, you divide in four parts. And it's very important, instead of saying, well, the cardinal, Aries is cardinal, but it's different from a Cancer, which is cardinal, different from Libra. No, it is better to say that all these cardinal signs have basically the same meaning. We have to forget all this story about the typical, the picturesque aspect of the signs. Anyway, I would like to finish on this point that the origin itself of the zodiac is very complicated, and we find zodiacs in the antiquity, but in fact it is the result of many mixtures, many corruptions. It is certainly inspired by the almanacs, which have disappeared. We haven't been kept all the time, but they probably existed. It is certainly inspired by, I would call that an anthropological meteorology, which is how people in the antiquity were considering the weather and what they were doing during the weather, what they were doing in winter, what they were doing in spring, what they were doing in summer, what they were doing in fall. And it is a mistake to explain the zodiac. Hello?